My tattoo stands for God is greater than all your ups and your downs. The cross signifies that Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and the semicolon is for suicide survivors and mental health survivors. It's where the author could have chosen to end the sentence, but he chose not to, letting you know your story's not over yet. And I got it right above my scars to let me know I can overcome anything. My journey to my addiction started from when I was in kindergarten. My mom married a man who was an alcoholic, and he was extremely abusive to both of us. I remember being in kindergarten and walking around on the playground and watching everybody else play and just wanting to disappear. I never felt like I belonged because what was going on at my house wasn't going on at my friends' houses. My friends seemed to have the white picket fence lifestyle, and I was living in a personal hell. By the time I got into middle school, all I wanted to do was fit in. So when some friends of mine started smoking weed, I decided to try some. And I finally felt like I belonged, and that was something that I had been after. When I was 14, I had my first drink. And I knew something was different because my friends all took one beer. And before I had even opened the first one, I grabbed a second beer and hid it for myself because I knew I would need more. And looking back, I know that's my first recollection of my addiction, always wanting something more. And I was introduced to prescription drugs. I loved the feeling they gave me. It took away all the pain that I was trying to stuff down. It gave me an excuse to act out. I could blame it, oh, I was high, that's why I did that. So drugs were my escape. And then I started selling them, and that's when I realized everybody really needed me. I had what I wanted, and I had what they wanted, and that was what I thought my calling was. I thought I was destined to be a drug dealer. And upon finding the prescription painkillers, I found a whole new beast of addiction. Without realizing it, I became physically dependent on a drug. And before I knew it, I could not function as a normal person without that drug, without being violently sick. I've been in and out of detox facilities since I was 18 years old. And I told everybody what they wanted to hear. And as soon as I got out, 30 days later, I was high. I met a girl in treatment before my last relapse, and I knew her for 40 days, and we clicked immediately. I felt like she was supposed to be a lifelong friend for me. And we lost contact. She got out of treatment. She stayed clean for another 30 days. And she decided to use one more time. And that one more time was her last time. She overdosed and she died. I remember being on my mom's couch while she was at work, screaming, crying in pain because I was dope sick. I needed my drugs to feel okay, and I couldn't get them. I had no money. I had tapped my mom of everything. And I just remember screaming and crying. I had just taken the blade to my wrist and I was slamming my head into the wall, praying for death, praying for a way out. And God answered my prayer. A friend of mine went to this treatment center called New River Wellness Center. I had only ever been to state-funded places. I never thought that I was good enough to make it in a legitimate treatment center where people care. And so she brought me to New River, and I talked to some of the staff and everyone seemed really amazing and everything was going fine until they told me that I could come in that day. I said, no, I'm not ready. I went to church that night, a recovery Bible study. And the ministry leader there had me stand up in front of the entire church, and he described how I was feeling, how my thought process was get high or die. And he asked the church at the recovery Bible study, if anybody else has felt that way, stand up. The entire church stood up around me, and they asked if they could put hands over me and pray, and I said yes. And the entire church prayed for me that night to break the bonds of addiction and of the hell I was living in every single day. And I made the decision that night to go to treatment. The next morning when I got there, they welcomed me with open arms, like longtime friends waiting for me to come home. Going into treatment at New River was the best decision I've made for myself to this date. I've never had more than 30 days clean before. I stayed about 2.5 months. And while I was there, my entire life changed. I mean, a complete 180. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And I can honestly say I found my best friend there. She taught me that I'm a strong, beautiful woman, and it's okay to ask for help. That's where I started to transform. That's where I started to find who I am. The staff there are amazing. The group therapy is amazing. The individual counseling is amazing. They gave me my life back. They taught me how to grow. I've never laughed so much in my entire life since I've been sober. And even on my bad days, I know I'm gonna be okay. I live in a halfway house now with my best friend that I've met in treatment. And I know that I can go to anybody at New River for anything. Any time of day, any time of night, for absolutely whatever. Anything I need, I know I can go there. That's my family. Every single day that I hit my pillow sober, it's a miracle. It's my biggest accomplishment and my biggest testimony. I couldn't have done it without their help. I have a sponsor today. I'm working steps today. I have God in my life, and I see the miracles He performs for me daily. Even on my bad days, I see it. When I think about my future, it's overwhelming in the best way possible. Because I know that if I can overcome what I've been through, I can do anything I put my mind to. In the future, I plan on going back to school. I want to get in the field of recovery. I want to study psychology as well. I used to tell my therapists at New River that I was coming for their jobs, and I will. I'm Tory, and I'm a life renewed.